they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take a few to lose. Built to win, applied myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Applied myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back with another episode. And today, we're going to be previewing games for today and tomorrow. Really, I was thinking about doing Tuesday and Wednesday, but I had to talk about this Houston-Iowa State game, even though it's tough for me to pick. I ain't going to lie. Like, I got a winner, but I'm still on the fence about that game. But talk about that later. Right now, we're going to start the show off like we do every Monday. As you see, my name is Doomsday Monday today because we got to talk about Michigan being the number one team in the country. Oh, it hurts. It's the truth, but it hurts. They are the number one team in the country, and I can't push back. Like, it is what it is. They deserve it. They got it. Shout out to them for that. Much as I hate it as a Michigan State fan, it's well deserved, and we just got to move on. Now, hopefully they take an L either tomorrow or Saturday, but that's neither here nor there today. Number 2 is actually Houston, who will be taking on Iowa State later tonight. No problems with Houston being 2 for me there. 3 is Duke. I have no issue with Duke being 3 at all, mainly because Arizona, who's 4, lost back-to-back games. So I can see why Duke jumps over Arizona. When you lose back-to-back games, no matter how tough the 2 games were, they both were ranked games, still lost them. So I can see why Duke is 3, Arizona's 4. Now UConn is at 5 because Arizona won the head-to-head over UConn. Makes sense. Iowa State drops to 6. UConn jumps them to 5. Cool there. 2 and 6 play each other later tonight. 7, Purdue. I can see why Purdue jumped above Kansas. I don't know why they jumped 6 spots because they beat what? They beat Iowa, which that's a good win, but not enough to jump 6 spots. Not at all. I don't think Purdue should have jumped up 6 spots. But I think the computers have an affinity for Painter, I guess. I don't know, because I don't know if this is all computers or not, but I don't think Purdue should be at 7. I think Nebraska, for what it was worth, I would like them at 7. I like Kansas. I like Kansas at 8. So what it's worth, I like Nebraska at 7, possibly Illinois at 7. Because Illinois lost to Wisconsin in overtime. It's not a bad loss, and they bounced back. But I mean, they bounced back against Indiana, but nonetheless, they still won. But either way, Purdue 7, Kansas 8. I'm cool with that there because they did get the first ever win against Arizona this year. So shout out to them for that. Not first ever, as in ever in program history, but Arizona's first loss this season. So 9 is Nebraska. Again, I was cool with them being at 7. They dropped from 7, so is what it is there. Nebraska did lose to Illinois, but this week. Oh, they did lose to Purdue. I guess I got to walk that back. I forgot they did play each other. I did forget about that. I guess I got to walk some of that back. I forgot Nebraska lost to Purdue on overtime. That was the Tuesday game I got wrong that I couldn't remember on this week in college basketball. So my apologies. I guess I'll walk some of that back. 10, Illinois. Cool with that. Illinois, to me, deserves to remain in the top 10. Gonzaga moves up 1 spot to 11. That's fine. Florida moves up to 12. I feel like Florida should jump Gonzaga. Yeah, Gonzaga got a better record. Florida has a tougher schedule. I would like Florida to jump Gonzaga there. Texas Tech at 13. They move up 3 spots because, again, they got to win against the former number 1 team in the country, Arizona. Cool with that there. Virginia 14, I'm fine with. They have 3 losses on the season, 1 in ACC play. I think 2 in ACC play, excuse me. 1 in the regular season, the non-con schedule, which funny enough is to Butler. So I guess I'm cool with VA 14. Michigan State 15. I thought we might drop lower than that. I think we're in front of UNC possibly because of the Caleb Wilson injury news. And we went head-to-head, so I'm fine. I was actually fine with St. John jumping both of us at 15 and Michigan State being 16, if I'm being very honest. And I'm also fine with Vanderbilt possibly jumping, even though Vanderbilt's been playing. I still think Vanderbilt been playing better than us. I was possibly fine with St. John 15, Vandy 16, Michigan State 17, UNC 18. Well, I don't want to move St. Louis down, but yeah, I just know I was fine with St. John and Vandy possibly jumping us. But nonetheless, we're at 15, UNC 16, St. John 17, St. Louis 18, which they stay at 18. It's gonna be pretty hard for them to move up. Teams will have to like lose a bunch for them to move up or like get upset. Which honestly, we have an upset potential for St. Louis to move up Tuesday. A game I will talk about on Tuesday. Vandy 19, Arkansas 20. I'm cool with. Louisville 21. Yeah, they keep taking advantage. They keep taking advantage of unranked teams, so I got to move them up. Miami of Ohio, they actually move up to 22. Love that for them. BYU drops to 23. Wisconsin moves up into the rankings. They were unranked, so they're now 24th. I think Wisconsin should honestly, well, I can't say that because BYU absolutely smacked them when they played against each other. But Wisconsin has some great wins lately, and Alabama's at 25. I think that this was possibly a mistake. I feel like Clemson should have dropped to 25. Alabama, to me, should not be ranked yet. I'm sorry. They shouldn't. Yes, they got a good win against Auburn on the road. Absolutely. Ole Miss on the road, good win. Alabama at home. Texas A&M at home, excuse me. Good win. South Carolina, not a good win. I don't even know if I would say Ole Miss on the road is a good win. Ole Miss isn't that good either. South Carolina's trash. We're at the bottom of the SEC. Ole Miss is, I want to say, not the bottom, but close to the bottom. I think they're a little below mid-tier. They are third from the bottom. That's not a great win. So since getting smacked by Florida, your one good win is Texas A&M, who's currently on a 4-game losing streak, who went from first to middle of the pack. So they're reeling right now. Yeah, they're 7-5. They're on a 4-game losing streak. They're reeling. And Auburn, which Auburn's a good win, a rivalry win on the road, the Iron Bowl. That's a good win, but not enough to be ranked, in my opinion. I think Clemson probably should have dropped to 25th. If you want to have Clemson 24th and then Wisconsin 25th, I would disagree. I feel like that loss to Virginia Tech should have at least got Clemson 25th, if not unranked. But to have Bama ranked, I disagree. And y'all know I'm a Nado's guy. I love Nado's. I think he's the best. Well, he might be losing that best coach in the SEC title because Coach Golden at Florida is doing wonders for back-to-back years. But I just don't think Alabama should be ranked. So I feel like Clemson should have took that spot. Villanova is a sleeper to take that spot, in my opinion. The U could have possibly took that spot. Utah State possibly could have took that spot. But Bama should not be ranked, in my opinion. Not at all. So that's my opinions on the college basketball polls for today. Let me know your thoughts. Whether you agree or disagree in the comments below. But we're going to move on to the game that I'm talking about today. And no, I'm not talking about Duke Syracuse. Absolutely not. I don't care if it's Big Monday and it's at 7 o'clock. Absolutely not. I might only watch the first half of that game, to be completely honest with you. And if it's close, I'll continue to watch. But if it's like I think it is, I'll probably end up watching Stephen F. Austin versus Texas A&M Corpus Christi, to be completely honest with y'all. Or maybe finishing the Lamar versus who Lamar play? UT Real Valley Grande. Might finish that game. Or even might watch South Alabama Marshall over Syracuse Duke, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. But we'll move on to the game of the night. Should be game of the night. Number 2, Houston walks into Ames, Iowa, where they'll be taking on the 6th-ranked Iowa State Cyclones. This game is 9 o'clock tonight on ESPN. Now, Houston, they're led by freshman Kingston Flemings, who's averaging 16.4 points per game, 3.6 rebounds, 5.3 assists, and 1.7 steals. Emmanuel Sharp averaging 16.6 points per game and 1.2 steals per game. And Milos Uzan averaging 11.2 points per game, 4 assists per game, and 1 steal per game. Now, the X factor to me for Houston is going to be Christian Knack Jr. Dealing with Blake Buchanan and Joshua Jefferson and those guys down low, the activity for Iowa State, but also his ability to score the ball and rebound. He's leading them in rebounding at 7.4 rebounds per game. He's scoring 9.6 a game. He's also a freshman for Houston, playing really well. And I think his presence down low is going to be big against the Iowa State bigs, as well as Joseph Tugler and guys like that. But my X factor today is Christian Knack Jr. Now for Iowa State, they're led by Tamin Lipsey. I think he's a junior too, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's a senior now. Either way, point guard, phenomenal point guard, one of the best point guards in the country. 13.2 points per game, 4.1 rebounds, 5.3 assists, and 2.3 steals. Milan Milosevic, averaging 18.4 points per game, 3.3 rebounds per game. And Joshua Jefferson, averaging 16.7 points per game, 7.6 rebounds, 5.2 assists, and 1.5 steals per game. Their X factor to me is going to be Blake Buchanan. He's going to have to score the ball. He's going to have to, and I forgot to write down his scoring, so I'll just do it off my phone. But I think he's going to have to play some defense, grab some boards, possibly score. He's going to have to do some of the dirty work down low for the Iowa State Cyclones. So I have him as my X factor. Big game. Now, actually, let me get Blake Buchanan's stats up. I got him right here. He's averaging 8.3 points per game, 5.9 rebounds, and 1 block per game. So it's going to be huge there. But now to the winner part. Now, this is tough because Iowa State, they went 1-1 last week. They lost to TCU on the road, but then they spank Kansas at home. By 18. Houston, during a win streak, their only Big 12 loss is to Texas Tech on the road. This is a road game. Iowa State is undefeated at home. Iowa State is undefeated at home against Houston since Houston joined the Big 12. That is also key. But I think this Houston team gets it done. I think Houston wins. Why? Because I think that Kingston Flemings, I really think Kingston Flemings just scores when need be. I've seen this Houston team show some resiliency on the road. They show resiliency against Texas Tech. They just lost. They showed resiliency against BYU. Won. When BYU was making a run to come back. They were up a lot in that game, but BYU made a run. I think they even took the lead, and Houston showed resiliency there. I've seen this Houston team show a bunch of resiliency on the road. Now, Houston's only 2 losses are neutral site against Tennessee and on the road against Texas Tech, which we just seen Texas Tech beat Arizona on the road. So that's not a bad loss. I think this Houston team sneaks up on you. It's not, I don't want to say it's not as good as previous Houston teams because I don't think that's necessarily truthful. And I don't want to say they're not as good defensively because they're still a solid defensive team. But I just think they sneak up on you and they can score with the best of them in the country. So I'm going to roll with Houston. Iowa State's also a really good team, but I've seen Iowa State suffer way too many scoring droughts. And I think that might come to bite them in the behind against this Houston team. I've also seen Iowa State go on a bunch of scoring routes. Like they start scoring the ball a bunch. But I think a scoring drought can cost you a ton in this game. So I'm going with Houston as the gambling dog, but they're not the ranking upset, but gambling-wise, they're upset. I'm going with Houston, man. I think Houston finally gets a win in Ames, Iowa since joining the Big 12. And Iowa State's undefeated streak at home this season gets ended tonight. So we're going with Houston here. Next, we got number 1 in the country, Michigan, taking on number 7 in the country, Purdue. This game is 6:30 tomorrow on Peacock. Now, Michigan comes into this one as 2.5-point road favorites. And Michigan is led by Axel Lundenberg, who had a I don't even think that was a controversial video. He was talking trash before the game tomorrow. He's a college student. I mean, who don't talk trash? I mean, it's just on video. I don't think it's controversial. People might say it's bulletin board material. I'm a part of the number 1 team in the country. Everybody's gunning for us. Even if we weren't number 1 if Arizona lost, we were number 2. You don't need extra bulletin board to want to beat the top 2 team, top 1 team in the country on your home floor. But anyway, I digress. It's a controversial video, I guess. He's averaging 14.4 points per game, 7.7 rebounds per game, 1.2 steals, and 1.4 blocks per game. Elliot Cadeau, who's averaging 9.8 points per game, 5.5 assists per game. Him and Braden Smith battle will be fun to watch. And Ade Mara averaging 11.3 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, and 2.8 blocks per game. Now, my X factor to me, I could have went Moraes Johnson, but I actually went Amani Burnett. I went to Amari Burnett because he's going to have a tough job running Fletcher Lawyer and guys off that 3-point line and still trying to score. Now, his scoring won't be necessarily relied upon. You got guys that can score like Trey McKinney and Yaxel and I just had his name. I mean, Elliott can score. You got guys that can score. It's another guy off the bench. I can't remember. He played with Michigan last year. I can't remember his name right now. But anyway, they got scores. So I don't think Amari Burnett is necessarily going to be relied upon to score a ton, but he got his work cut out running guys off the 3-point line and stuff like that. Now for Purdue, they're led by Braden Smith, averaging 14.7 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, 8.9 assists per game, and 1.88 steals. Trey Kaufman, who's averaging 12.4 points per game, 9 rebounds per game, and Fletcher Lawyer averaging 13.5 points per game. Now their X factor to me is going to be Daniel Jacobson. And I think he's going to be needed because of reinforcements against the Michigan size. Like Michigan has a Damar who's like 7'3", 7'4". Jacobson can, help with that off the bench. You got Yaxel who's like 6'8", 6'9". Moraes Johnson who's probably like another 7. I think he's like 6'10" to a 7-footer. So they got all these big guys. So I think Daniel Jacobson is going to be necessary to help with the size of Michigan. But unfortunately for me, but fortunate for Michigan fans, I do have Michigan winning this ball game. I think Michigan's been on a tear. I don't think Michigan in like the last couple of weeks have won a ball game by single digits. I know they beat us by 12. The game was close, but they pulled away late, so it is what it is. We still lost by double digits. Now fouling helped increase that, but like I said, it is what it is. We lost by double digits. Northwestern was close at a time, but then they ended up winning that by 12. They beat Ohio State by 21. They beat Penn State by, 41. They beat UCLA by 30. Like I said, they beat us by 12. Okay, so the last time they had a close game, single-digit game, was a 3-point win at home against Nebraska, which was January 27th. Other than that, USC to start the month, 30. Okay, Penn State by 2 on the road. They lost to Wisconsin by 3, and then 10 against Washington on the road, 10 against Oregon on the road, 14 at home, 12 at home. So they've probably been in the last 2 months been a part of 3 to 4 single-digit ball games. Purdue, on the other hand, they haven't been the greatest. Yeah, they've been getting wins. That was a nice win on the road against Nebraska, and even though Nebraska stormed back to force OT, nice win. Purdue against Oregon, 4-point win at home. That's cool. They blew out Iowa, great win. Blew out Maryland by 30, great win. But then lost at home, even though it was a rivalry game against in Bloomington against Indiana. They lost by 5, lost by 6 to Illinois, and then lost by 2 against UCLA, which they allowed UCLA to come back and win that game and beat USC by 5. So they've not been the greatest as of late. So I'm just going to roll with the hotter and better team in Michigan to win this game on the road. Next, we have 16th ranked UNC at NC State, 7 o'clock on ESPN tomorrow. Now, again, North Carolina is without Caleb Wilson. He's out indefinitely with an hand injury. And this was the potential upset I was talking about for St. Louis to possibly move up. But UNC is now going to be led by Henry Vazar, averaging 16.4 points per game, 9 rebounds and 1.2 blocks. Seth Trimble, 13.9 points per game, 3.8 rebounds and 1.3 steals. And Jaren Stevenson, averaging 7.6 points per game, 3.6 rebounds. And he had 19 last game, which I believe was Saturday against Pitt. So he had 19 against Pitt with a more enlarged role because I believe he was always a starter, if I'm not mistaken. But Caleb Wilson obviously isn't there. So, and I mean, he's used to a bigger role. He was transfers from Alabama. So, anyway, the X factor to me is going to be Luka Bogovac. Excuse me. I'm sorry, I always butcher it. But anyway, the reason why I have Luka is because NC State shoots the 3 at a really good clip. And he's going to be able to knock down. He's going to be needed to knock down threes to counteract the 3-point shooting of NC State. So that is why I have him as my X factor, shooting 34.5% from the 3-point line. Now, NC State, they're led by Darion Williams, who, if you remember, fouled out. Again, I thought they got robbed, but that's just me. And I did pick Miami to win, so I'm not being biased. Saturday against Miami, he averages 14.2 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Quadere Copeland averaging 13.8 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, 6.8 assists, and 1.8 steals. And Van Allen Lubin averaging 13.7 points per game, 7.1 rebounds per game. Now, their X factor to me is going to be Matt Abel. Matt Abel and his ability to score the ball. He's shooting the 3-point at 35.4% from the 3, averaging 8.5 points per game. You're going to have to score a ton of points against this UNC team. Now, granted, they are down a front court member, a big star front court member, but still going to have to score a ton of points because you scored 86. And unfortunately, because of a foul call, 86 was not enough against Miami. But I am rolling with NC State here. They're having another home game. This is a rivalry game in Raleigh. And again, UNC is missing Caleb Wilson, who is huge for the UNC Tar Heels. So I think Darion Williams has another good game. Well, I think he has a good game. I think that Trey Holloman, guys like that, I think the guys knock down shots because, to be honest, for a while in the NC State Miami game, they were not knocking down the 3-ball at a clip that they are used to. I think that kind of changes tomorrow. And I got NC State pulling off the rankings upset, but gambling wise, NC State does come into this game as 7.5-point favorites. So give me NC State, give me the Wolfpack in this matchup. And lastly, I was going to end it there, but I decided, hey, why not hit y'all with a bubble game? Because I think this game is huge for the bubble of both teams. TCU coming off of a win against Iowa State and Oklahoma State. Iowa State at home, Oklahoma State on the road. UCF is coming off of a loss. They come off a loss to West Virginia. So that is big. I think this is a big game in terms of bubble resumes. So I said, why not talk about it? So TCU, they're led by David Punch, who's averaging 14.3 points per game, 6.9 rebounds, 1.3 steals, and 2.1 blocks. Xavier Edmonds, who's averaging 12.4 points per game and 6 rebounds per game. And Jada Pierre, who's averaging 10.7 points per game, 1.1 steals per game. Their X factor to me is going to be Tanner Toolson, and he's going off the bench because UCF is a really good team defensively, and I think they're going to need all the scoring from anywhere they get. And I think bench scoring in particular is going to be really big. And Tanner Toolson's averaging 7.8 points per game off the bench. So I think that is huge. Now, UCF, they're led by Riley Kugel, who's averaging 14.3 points per game, 3.3 rebounds per game. Demas Folks, averaging 13.5 points per game, 3.1 rebounds per game, and 6.8 assists. And Jordan Burks, averaging 12.5 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, and 1 steal per game. Now, their X factor to me is going to be Jermichael Stillwell. With his ability to not only score the ball and rebound it, he's leading them with 8 rebounds per game. He's averaging 12.3 points per game. And the thing with this TCU team is they find ways to score. And in the game like the Oklahoma State game, they would put up a ton of points. The Oklahoma State rallied the force overtime, got a offensive putback to send it in the overtime. But TCU, to be honest, dominated that game. And TCU rallied to take the lead against Iowa State, and they made it tough on Iowa State to score as well. So just realized I didn't write down the winner. But my winner, UCF, man. I think UCF bounces back at home. And I think this is back-to-back tough road games for TCU. So I think that may take a toll on the TCU Horned Frogs. So I'm going to roll with UCF with their defensive ability and their ability to put the ball in the basket, them being back at home, and them knowing also this is a big game for their tournament resume. So I'm going to take UCF in this matchup against TCU. Now, that's all the games I got for y'all today. I will be back Wednesday because I looked at the Wednesday schedule. I don't think I'm doing Wednesday and Thursday, but I know for a fact I will be doing Wednesdays. I wrote my winner down so I can keep track of it. I will be back Wednesday with a ton of games. We got Arizona, BYU. Now, this off the top of my head, so I'm probably going to remember 1 or 2, and I'm going to have to look at the schedule. But, Arizona, BYU is Wednesday. You got – damn, why can't I remember these games? It's like 3 or 4 that jumped out at me. I might talk about Butler, Georgetown. I don't know if this is a bubble game or not, to be completely honest with y'all. But I think it's a good game to watch. No, it's not. It's not a bubble game, but I do think it's a good game to watch. So I might talk about that one. Arkansas, Alabama. Definitely got to talk about that one. That's a good game to talk about. Let's see here. Let's see. I might talk about Kansas, Oklahoma State. May or may not. That is TBD. Vanderbilt, Mizzou. I would definitely talk about that one. And Illinois, USC. I will talk about that. Even though I kind of feel like I'm talking about both of those schools a little bit too much. So that might be TBD as well. But I will be back Wednesday. Now to do some house cleaning. So thank y'all for anybody who tuned in. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to the video. It helps the channel. It helps the network. As you can see, my pick'em record is 27-18. I did pretty good Saturday. Went 7-3. The West Virginia game against UCF was one of my losses. Santa Clara losing to Gonzaga was one of my losses. I thought that without Braden Huff, Santa Clara might get it done. And Santa Clara stayed in that game for as long as they could. It's just at the end of the game, Gonzaga took over. And one of my losses, and my last loss was Arizona losing to Texas Tech. So those are my 3 losses on Saturday. But it was I did a good job in helping my pick'em record. So hopefully we can keep spreading out the distance between wins and losses. Now, like I said, this is a network, so we have multiple shows on the network. One of the shows is the main show featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave, who will be going live 30 minutes from now, or around 30 minutes from now. They go live Mondays and Thursdays, from 7 to about 8:30ish. So tune into that. That's next. We have Unfazed. Now there is no set date for Unfazed. They will be announcing when they go live, but that's Joe and AJ. They're now switching over to the NBA. Well, as the main show. The main show is going to be talking about a lot of NBA. We do have an NFL topic thrown in there. We have Baseball with Teddy, BWT. The World Baseball Classic is coming up shortly. Spring training actually starts, what's the 21st? Is that a Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. So baseball season's getting real close, man. So be on the lookout for BWT. FFC, Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs. I saw somewhere that the combine starts in a week, so maybe he might have some combine news, maybe not, some free agency news, maybe not, but just be on the lookout for whatever content he puts out for you guys. We have Dave's Doghouse, highlights and lowlights of sport. We have RBO, Real Ballers Only NBA show. We have In the Red Corner featuring Tyreek and Tomo, boxing show. They go live on Sundays, not every Sunday, but when they do go live, it is on Sundays, and that's normally around like 6:30, 7 o'clock. So all your boxing needs, boxing news, boxing not exhibition, excuse me. Sorry, don't kill me, In the Red Corner. All your big boxing pay-per-views, In the Red Corner got you covered. And last but not least, we have Zero Sports Talk with Griffey, who didn't go live. He had a video drop at 5 o'clock talking about the World Baseball Classic, Puerto Rico's insurance issues. So make sure you check that out. And that's all the shows we have on the network. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to those shows as well. And if you like what you're listening to, stick with us. And lastly, one thing I want to say is I appreciate all the support on the shorts. But hey, man, if you see something, disagree, you agree, just let me know in the comments of my shorts, man. I replied to it, if not all comments. Now, you can't be outlandish. I won't apply to crazy stuff, but I apply to all the comments in the shorts, Instagram Reels. So you see something, even if you disagree, hey, man, we could talk about it because, I ain't always right. So, hey, let me know. But until then, it's your boy Carl, CTC. I'm gone. See y'all Wednesday. Peace.